How long did that last? A couple of years? Dell and Lexmark?
It hasn't been there. I just went into Lexmark, so it hasn't been there since I last.
Yeah, it did not last terribly long.
How do you feel about their new CEO?
I don't know. You know, I've called a couple of friends of mine to get their take on this. One of whom is very, very high in the organization. I do know that when they announced that, and there were a lot of things going on that day. What happened to Lexmark stock when they announced that they had a new CEO and Paul Kurlander was leaving?
It dropped 10%.
It lost 25% of its value. There's more going on than just that transition. But it's always interesting. Kurlander's been there a long, long time. When you see a transition like this from a really long-time CEO, IBM's going to go through this shortly, I think, because I'm not sure Sam Palmisano is going to stay there much longer. You're going to see really, it happened to P&G. You know, Lafley had been there a long time, and now Bob McDonald's there, and nobody really, I mean, you know, ostensibly you've groomed somebody, right? Nobody really knows what the new kid's going to do, because all of a sudden the new kid is the new kid, and the new kid knows it. So this is an interesting time to be watching the performance of the company. For the sake of Lexington, I hope he does okay, because they've got an awful lot of very high-paying, you know, they've got the right jobs in Lexington. They moved manufacturing out of there a long time ago, and they've, you know, we've got all the engineers and the finance people, and you know, the folks that make the big bucks, as they say. So we'll see. What's next?
Show using any of the models that we discussed why the markets do not like the Fed raising interest rates.
Okay, that would be a problem. Give me a question.
I don't think we have any questions.
I think we're out now.
Oh, good. Well, let me get my ink out. Okay.
Ready for the big part.
See, I don't want to sniff this stuff any longer. I have to. And yes, in spite of what happened yesterday in the football arena, I still have green ink. Actually, I don't have any other color if you want to.
I like your UK t-shirt though.
This has nothing to do with UK athletics. I hope you know this. This is the Gilhard Institute, which is the only reason why I wear it. Actually, I have several of these. I wear them all the time to point out to people that UK does actually have academic programs and not corrupt basketball teams. But
you're still wearing UK, so.
Oh yeah, exactly. But if you can read, you can see that it has nothing to do with the athletic department. Now, my son is a biochemist at the Gilhard Institute, so I actually get these free. First problem, and I don't even know where we start here. Probably in chapter 7.
That's blasphemy from someone that lives in Lexington.
Oh heavens, no! No, you can be you can have standards for athletics and still live in Lexington. Several of my neighbors do.
Would you do the shares of common stock for?
Well, let's go ahead. Let's just go ahead and start on
Otherwise, we
that.
can start with Jerry Garcia on tests.
Let's not do that. Let's save that for last.
Are we really going to have to do that one?
Parts of it. Yeah, see, ordinarily, in some cases, I covered 8, 9, and 12, you know, as an exam, and for 8, 9, and 12, if that's all you had, I'm sorry, 9, 10, and 12, which would be the 2 chapter on capital budgeting and the weighted average cost of capital one, you got a chance to do that. We even see the exam. But again, I like you guys, so I'm not likely to do as much to you.
Have you made the test?
It was a
Oh,
little
yeah.
much.
Yeah. Now, Garcia's, it's too much for the rest of the stuff covered on this test, yeah. I mean, there's no way in hell I would ask you to do that entire problem. You'll be here until midnight. And I don't want to be here till midnight with you, and I would have to be, right? So we're not going to do that. But if you can do Jerry Garcia, you'll be able to do the chunks of Jerry Garcia or something similar to that. How many years is Garcia?
5 years.
Yeah, see, I could turn that into a 2-year project and you'd be fine. Or a 3-year project. But certainly not 5. Okay, that's just, again, that gets beyond anything that I need to know whether you can do. So let's save Garcia for last.
All right.
Okay.
Determine the value of a share of
There
common
we go.
stock under the following scenarios.
Okay.
Assume that the initial dividend is $4. Scenario 1, G equals 10% and R equals 14%.
Okay. R and K, same thing here. We're okay there? What was K again?
14.
Okay, any violation of our model here? G is less than K, right? So we're good to go here. So we have D1 over K minus G. What is D1?
440.
It's 440. Okay, remember that, right? It's D1, not D0. So I don't know what that is, but I swear, even 2 of you probably who are here today. Surely not, but D0 instead of D1, never fails. Somebody will. At least one of you. What do we get here? 25 times 440, whatever, or, yeah, 25 times 440, what is that? I guess 110, okay? $110, you okay here? Everybody all right?
No.
D1 over what?
G1 over K minus G, which is 0.04, 14 minus 10. Okay, remember the model. That is, by the way, those of you that heard Kurt earlier, that is Gordon's growth model. I don't know whether we ever clearly identified it. So. Myron Gordon, many of us think, is ultimately going to get a Nobel Prize, not just for this, but for several other things he's done. We shall see. Okay, the next.
Scenario 2.
Hold on. Eraser. All right, go ahead.
G equals negative 6%. K equals 12.
So now what do we got? We got 376 up here, right?
$24. 44 cents.
We're gonna get hammered on this one, right? And then we have 0.18 down here. Not a pretty sight, right? We've reduced the top of the fraction and dramatically increased the bottom. You know what's happening next, right? What'd you get, Jason?
The wrong answer, hold on.
An honest man.
20.89.
20.89. Use D0?
Yeah, I used 4.4 actually.
Okay, all right. So use D1 from the prior problem. That could be worse, I'm not sure. We all right here? Price of this stock took a major whooping here, right? When we had, a negative growth rate. Again, does this stock have value? We'll look at it. Clearly it does, right? Even though the dividends are expected to go down at 6% a year forever in this model.
So drawing from what you just said, the next question is looking at scenario 2, why would anyone buy that stock?
We have talked about that. What's the answer?
Because
Still
there's no
making
cash
money.
flow.
We value things based on the present value cash flows, folks. Even though the dividend is going down, go down another 6% next year, but it's still greater than 0, and therefore the stock has value. Do not, in your answer, talk about, well, maybe there'll be a takeover candidate, maybe there'll be this, maybe there'll be that. We're looking at this model specifically and saying, why would anybody buy this? And the reason is that it still has value. And remember, again, D1 over K minus G, while it does not look like it, is indeed a way to compute the present value of all of the cash flows that this dividend-paying stock is going to generate from now till infinity. Again, D over K doesn't look like the summation of a huge number of dividends from now until infinity that are fixed, but it is. Okay? And just because we mathematically reduce these things does not mean